Hi guys, it's time for the makeover that we've all been waiting for, which is the nursery. If you missed the memo, we are pregnant and due in August. We have just a few months left to transform this junk room into a nursery. We've been using this room for storage for the past couple of years. We renovated our garage, so everything from the garage has been piling up in here and it's a complete disaster. I'm a little nervous to flip the camera around and show you guys, but I want to take you with me from start to finish. So here is what we're working with. So we've already done some work in here. There used to be a closet in this corner of the room. It was pretty dysfunctional. There was also a closet from the office that was jutting into here in this back corner. And then there was a door here going into the office, which was totally unnecessary because we have a door in that corner. So my dad was here a few months ago and he helped Devin and I demo this whole area. And now we have a complete blank wall where I can do some nice storage. So I have some patching to do on the floors, some mudding and sanding to do on the drywall. But other than that, the real big task is going through all of this junk. So I'm going to go through everything, throw things away, donate things, and neatly organize the rest. But before we jump into that, I've been having so much fun designing the space, so let's take a look at my design plans. I've probably spent way too much time on designing this nursery, but it is a very, very special project and I just want every detail to be perfect. We don't know the gender of the baby. It's going to be a complete surprise, so we're going to go with a gender neutral theme. So I'm going to do a little screen recording here. I'm going to take you through my Pinterest board as well as a little tutorial of how I designed the nursery in a program called Home Designer Suite. First, let's take a look at where I find all my project inspiration on Pinterest. So I have my Pinterest pulled up here. I like to make Pinterest boards for all of my major room makeover projects. Whenever I have some downtime or at night, instead of scrolling on social media, I like to scroll Pinterest and save a bunch of ideas. So as you can see here, we have lots of neutral colors. I would love to do a little pop of yellow or green. I do already have a few key items for the nursery, which is the crib. So I've been talking back and forth with Nestig and they're sending me this woodland cloud crib, which is a beautiful walnut 3-in-1 crib. So it starts as a little mini crib from 0 to 6 months old, then it converts to a full crib, and then even to a toddler bed. So a lot of my design is kind of revolving around this type of crib. Another thing that I am doing from Nestig is this wallpaper. This is their Busy Brook wallpaper, I think. So the theme of the nursery is kind of based off this wallpaper. It's going to be like a sunny countryside with little wild animals and just neutral light and bright colors. I already have a rug for this space. I'm taking the rug that we used to have here in the office. So I'm going with this poly rug from Chris Loves Julia's line. It's a great natural color and it takes up most of the floor in the nursery. So this will be nice to have as a base. I love this look here with the green trim and the green bookshelves. I think I'm gonna do a cool pop of color on the base trim and the crown molding and maybe even on the closet wardrobe system. I'll touch more later on that, but that's kind of my inspiration with the different type of color blocking. So I'd like to do some sort of wall molding on the bottom half of the room and then wallpaper on the top half, kind of like this picture here. I love the idea of adding a pop of color to the closet and to the trim, just like this picture. There's so many great ideas here and I'm going to show you how I incorporate them into the Home Designer program. Okay, so I have my Home Designer program pulled up. I'm using a program called Home Designer Suite. I believe it was $130, so it's a pretty decent price. I use this all the time, especially for more interior design type projects. If I'm doing a woodworking building project, then I'll use SketchUp, but this just has so many different options and materials and different furnitures to play with for interior designing. So I already took all of my measurements for the nursery. I made sure to measure all the windows and the doors. I recommend getting very specific with your measurements so that your design is to scale and it looks realistic. So I already have all of my measurements inputted into the designer program, and I have a nice shell of the nursery so we can just focus on the interior details now. Okay, so we have a nice blank room. The first thing that I'm gonna do is change the material of the flooring to match what we have. We have parquet flooring, so I'm gonna look up parquet and see if I can find something similar. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this oak parquet flooring in this medium color. I like to kind of start with the big furniture pieces first and then work my way through the smaller details. We took out the old closet that wasn't very functional in this space, and I'm going to add 2 big IKEA wardrobes. So I already designed these wardrobes in the IKEA Pax Planner, and I'm gonna take the measurements here and then input them into my program so I know exactly the size of the wardrobes and they'll be perfectly to scale. Okay, so in my program here, I'm going to do a full height cabinet and add it in this corner. I'm gonna double click the cabinet and input the dimensions from IKEA. That looks good there. I'm gonna copy and paste another one. Okay, so another major piece of furniture to work around is the crib. So I mentioned earlier that I'm going with this crib from Nestig. So I wanna make sure that I'm accounting for the size of the mini crib, the full crib, and the toddler bed. So I'm going to find something that is somewhat similar. They don't have any cribs in this program, but they do have a day bed, I believe, that we can get to look somewhat close. Let's change the dimensions here. Sometimes it's easier to work in the 2D plan. So the mini crib fits perfectly in between the 2 wardrobes. When it comes time to change the full crib, I can fit that in between the 2 wardrobes as well, going the long way. And same thing with the toddler bed. That will also fit in between the cabinets. So that nook is the perfect size to account for all 3 conversions of the crib. I'm gonna change the color of the crib to match what it is in real life, more of a walnut color, and I'm gonna change the color of the fabric on the bed because that is kind of girly and ugly. Okay, so next up, let's add an area rug. I already have the rug planned for this space. It is this poly rug by Chris Loves Julia. I think it's 9 by 12. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the center of the nursery. So I'm gonna grab this rectangle rug here and I'm going to change the size of it. This pretty much takes up the entire nursery. Okay, that is not the greatest color, so I'm gonna try to find something that is somewhat similar. Okay, this is about as close as I can get to the rug that we have. Next, I'm gonna work on some curtains. Okay, I'm going to resize the curtains to extend past the window and give them some more height. Now let's change the color of the curtains. For the curtain rod, I'm gonna go with this oil rubbed bronze. So I just take my little paint sprayer and paint that. I'm also gonna do the rings. I also want to do the knobs of the wardrobe in the same oil rubbed bronze, so I can just change those out. Okay, so we've got the wardrobe, we've got the crib, we have the curtains. Now let's go with another big piece of furniture, which is a dresser. So we're gonna do a dresser slash changing table. I've looked up a few different sizes online, so I'm just going to find a random dresser and input a standard size for a changing dresser. Okay, we've got our dresser set. Let's change the color. Now let's find a chair for the corner of the nursery. Same thing with this. I just look up a standard size of a chair that I might like and change the dimensions here so it looks like it's more to scale. I'm gonna throw in a little side table and let's change the color of that. Okay, so we have all the major furniture items. Now I'm gonna go through and add the wall treatment and change up some of the colors. Okay, so I found this wainscoting and I'm gonna add that to the entire interior of the room. Go to this wall and add the same thing. Sometimes the furniture pieces interfere, so you just have to kind of shift things around. Okay, so all the wall paneling is in and I'm going to change the color of that quick. So I mentioned I'm gonna do wallpaper on the top half of the nursery, so I'm gonna try to find something somewhat close. Let's go with this floral antique print. I promise it's not going to look this girly. And let's change the color of that. Okay. Now I want to add kind of a cool pop of color. I mentioned I wanted to do maybe a light green or a light yellow. Still trying to figure out what color to go with for that, but I'm gonna try to find a yellow and just test that out. So I plan to do the same color on the wardrobes and the crown molding, the base trim, the window trim, as well as the door. Another small touch is a light fixture. Let's go ahead and throw a chandelier in here. Let's change the color of that. I think it would also be fun to do some sort of gallery wall above this dresser with a lamp. This is where the changing pad is gonna go. Okay, so we've got a pretty good idea here of the nursery design. I'm gonna start making a project list and a material list of everything that needs to be done. This is definitely not set in stone. I'm sure things are gonna change along the way, but this is a great place to start. I have tons of bins and junk to still go through, so let's jump into that next. While I'm going through the bins, I just wanted to mention that I have the home designer program linked in the description below. If you're looking for a beginner-friendly design program, I definitely recommend it. I dedicated a few hours a day to go through the bins and get things organized. The nesting has definitely begun, and it feels so good to check this big task off the list. I got some new bins from Target because, of course, all the bins need to match. I also got some watertight file cabinet bins to organize files. While I was organizing, the IKEA shipment arrived. These are the 2 PAX closet systems that I mentioned in my design, and I'll be assembling them in my next video. So there you have our entire nursery plan. I have so many projects to get to, starting with mudding and sanding some drywall, then patching these floors. In the next video, I'm sharing all about the IKEA PAX system and how I plan to add a little bit of character to them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of the nursery makeover.